We take you from the theoretical all the way through the hands-on and then to the practical skill and the practical knowledge that you need in order to run a ship, to run a power plant, to run an industrial facility.
This is Facility Rockstars, the podcast that celebrates the unsung heroes of our daily lives, facility professionals. I'm your host, Jay Culbert. Join me as we honor these great leaders, sharing stories, insights, and expertise that empower us all to learn and grow together. Facility Rockstars is sponsored by Coludus, operating the way you operate in order to make your life easier. Welcome back to Facility Rockstars and part 2 of our special 4-part series in partnership with Massachusetts Maritime Academy. Last week, we heard from some outstanding cadets, the next generation of leaders who are already getting their hands dirty and preparing to keep our world's infrastructure running. Today, we're moving from the student perspective to the mentors guiding that journey. We are going behind the scenes with the faculty and leadership who bridge the gap between classroom theory and real-world execution. First, I'm joined by Chief Engineer Laura Wilcox. Laura is a 2006 MMA grad who returned to the Academy to serve as the Chief Engineer of the TS Patriot State, a brand new national multi-mission vessel. She's actually calling us today from the Caribbean Sea, where she's currently overseeing the annual sea term and preparing to transit the Panama Canal with nearly 600 cadets on board. Later in the show, we'll sit down with Dr. Ashraf Omran, an associate professor in the Facilities Engineering Department. With 24 international patents and a background spanning aerospace and automotive control systems, Dr. Omran was instrumental in building the Academy's world-class operational controls lab, a facility so impressive it's attracting high schools and major industrial organizations from across the region. We're diving into the learn, do, lead philosophy, the island mentality of life at sea, and why industry leaders are constantly looking to MMA for their next hire. Let's get into it. Today's guest is Laura Wilcox. She is the Chief Engineer of Massachusetts Maritime Academy's training ship, TS Patriot State. Chief Wilcox is a 2006 Mass Maritime Academy graduate in marine engineering and holds a U.S. Coast Guard credential as Chief Engineer, motor vessels of any horsepower, and Third Assistant Engineer of steam and gas turbine vessels of any horsepower. In addition, she earned a Master of Science from the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Marine Engineering in 2012. Chief Wilcox has enjoyed a varied career at sea on vessels, ranging from tugs and barges to subsea construction vessels. She came ashore from sailing and joined the faculty at MMA in 2016 for a year before relocating to Alaska and working as the lead port engineer for Vitus Marine from 2017 to 2020. Another relocation brought the Wilcox family back to Cape Cod in 2020, where Chief Wilcox rejoined the MMA faculty as an instructor for classes and labs in the topics of diesel engines, electrical machines, and operational controls. In September 2023, she accepted the position of Chief Engineer of the training ship Patriot State, the second of 5 national multi-mission vessels. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jay. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time. And I think maybe I should let you tell the world where you're calling in from right now.
Well, we are calling in from the Caribbean Sea. We are currently underway in the second week of our annual sea term on Patriot State. Tomorrow morning, we will be anchoring just outside of the Panama Canal, and we're expecting to transit the Panama Canal pretty much all day tomorrow, spend a couple of days there, and then we'll carry on with the rest of our voyage.
Awesome. That's awesome. And all of us land people are probably, well, I know I'm a little jealous. That sounds amazing. So good luck with the journey.
Thanks.
So in the intro, we kind of walked through your journey, if you will. And, my first question, because this series really showcases first the cadets, then the leadership team like yourself, and then the graduates and the whole journey throughout. So with your journey, Laura, what caused you to come back as you were a graduate, then you came back to MMA as a career choice? What drew you to the school, the academy?
The thing that really drew me back to Mass Maritime was the success that I'd had in my career to that point, thanks to the education that I'd received at Mass Maritime. We have a strong tradition of very dedicated instructors, um, staff, faculty who, really embody that community spirit of Mass Maritime. And so when my spouse's career brought us back to the area, and I was looking for what am I going to do next in my life, it was a really easy yes when one of my colleagues now, but a friend of mine who was teaching at the academy said, "Hey, we really could use someone with your experience. We've got some openings in the engineering faculty, and we need somebody who has experience on diesel electric and some of the things that I, spent my last few years of my career on." Um, we're a small college, and it's a very tight-knit community, and it's a very welcoming community.
Awesome. I love it. I will mention and thank you again so the audience knows how open you are with your ship. You toured me through almost I felt like every square inch of that ship, and it's an amazing vessel. It's awesome. What a responsibility. What an honor, huh?
It really is. It's very much an honor to have the responsibility of operating and maintaining the ship, training the cadets on board, really introducing them to what it means to be a marine engineer or a facility engineer by giving them a lab that is an operating vessel.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I want to jump to because that is like we're going to talk about the distinctions and the uniqueness of Mass Maritime Academy, and one glaring example is your ship. So, could you walk us through kind of your overall responsibilities, your day to day, however you want to walk us through that, Laura?
Sure. So my overall responsibility is for the operation and the maintenance and the repair of the training ship. Uh, the vessel it's a large vessel. We can take 600 cadets, um, and upwards of 100 faculty, staff, and crew on board for each of our training cruises. We operate, as an island. Um, in addition to main propulsion and power generation equipment, we make our own water, we process our own sewage, we provide all of our own air conditioning, uh, hot water for the showers, uh, waste removal. We do everything for ourselves as a ship. And so the responsibility runs the gamut from making sure that the equipment is operational, and it's maintained well and it's repaired when it breaks, all the way down to making sure that we meet the regulatory requirements of the Coast Guard and the International Maritime Organization, um, compliance with our safety management system. And to top it all off, we also have to train 600 cadets per cruise. So we're doing all of this with, I shouldn't even say audience, but we're performing all of our actions for in any given time, from one cadet to a dozen cadets and explaining each step of the process along the way.
Mm.
My team, when it's time to depart from the next port, we're not just going to go down, crank up some engines and leave. We're going to gather up the cadets and say, all right, gang, it's time to start an engine. Does anybody know what the first step in starting an engine is? For everything that we do. Uh, and it's a lot of responsibility. We're responsible for keeping the ship operational. We're responsible for keeping everyone safe, for making sure that they're following the correct procedures, that they're wearing the correct PPE, and that they're learning something, that they're gaining something out of the experience.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've picked up on in talking with cadets and others like Ashraf, who you built the lab with on land. And I think like what I see is the cadets are learning these things in theory on land, and then they're applying it on your ship. Like really, they have to. Is that accurate? Am I seeing things correct there?
Absolutely accurate. Um, the operational controls lab, for example. So, and that was a fantastic project Ashraf and I worked on, a few winters ago before we had the new ship, because this ship is brand new. This is only our second training cruise. Uh, so some of our upper class students have had the lab, the operational control lab, and now they come here to the training ship and they are standing watch in the engine room. And the other day we had a temperature regulator that was acting erratically. And so we were able to use that as a really great training moment to say, hey, you'll remember seeing a device very similar to this in the lab. And do you remember how you tuned it?
Mm,
Do you remember what the process was? All right, well, let me start. And maybe as I do this, you flip back through your notes,
mm,
through your mental notes and see if this sounds familiar. And by the end of it, they were like, oh, wait a second. Don't we need to first, and they had it.
right.
They'd done it already, but now they were seeing it as part of a larger system, not just on the lab stand and not just, oh, I have to fill in this part of the lab report and this is the next step, but as here it is in an operating system, it's not operating correctly. And the chief is telling me I have to fix it, right? So they really get to pull back from the knowledge of what they've learned in the classroom and apply it directly to a real life situation.
I love that. Before we jump forward to more of that distinction and what you're explaining, you were kind enough last week or the week before to walk through with me the different responsibilities that the cadets have on your ship. And there were different roles, some more attractive than others, but everyone had a job is what really stuck with me. When no matter what the job was, they all had a job and it was equally as important. Can you just talk to that a little bit?
I would love to, because I think this is one of the things that really sets Mass Maritime apart in this particular training environment. So we have not quite 600 cadets on board, just under 600. We might be at like 570 something, 580 something, whatever. Um, Obviously, they can't all be doing the same thing at once. So they're broken up into 4 different divisions. And those divisions rotate on a 3-day basis so that at any given time, one of 4 cadets could be assigned to training, in which case they are getting up in the morning, going to morning formation, having their breakfast, showing up at the classroom, and having classroom and lab time with the faculty on board. Another cadet might be in the maintenance rotation. Maintenance rotation means you get up in the morning, you have your breakfast, you go to morning formation, and then you line up to be tasked with a maintenance job, maybe just for the morning, and you pick up a different job in the afternoon, or you might be in a maintenance job that is a multi-day project. Our upper class cadets, when they're on maintenance, the majority of them have a particular specialty that they are tied to. So we call them ratings. We have fabrication ratings. We have plumbing ratings. We have electrical ratings. Those upper class cadets will get their taskings from my team, and then they will be given a certain number of sophomores and freshmen to take with them as they go about their work. So we get the trouble log in the morning down there in the workshop. We go through the trouble log and go, oh, there's a clogged toilet. Where's the plumbers? All right, plumbers, go get yourselves some sophomores and freshmen. There's a clogged toilet in room ABCD. Go get on it. And then, here's a request for the creation of a bracket to hold something. So where's the fabrication guys? All right, fab guys, Go get your team together. Here's your task, maybe even for the next 3 or 4 days running. Here's a thing that you need to build. Like, go find the materials and get at it. Maintenance can also just be routine maintenance. It can be preventative maintenance. Oh, we're up on hours on the air compressor. It's time to do an oil change. So here's the instruction for how to do the oil change. Here are the materials. And if it's a job that's a little more complex or it's a little bit of a bigger job, one of my staff will supervise and will teach and train in place as they do that job. So we training, maintenance, watch standings, the third thing that a cadet could be doing on their rotation. The watch standing group is responsible for doing just that. 24 hours, 7 days a week, standing watch. The engineers stand watch in the engine room. The deck cadets stand watch in the bridge. So the deck cadets are standing the watch, maintaining a lookout, plotting the courses, steering the ship. The engine watch is maintaining the operation of the equipment. So they're really responsible for doing rounds of the engine spaces, alerting the licensed watchstanders to any change in the condition of the engine room, responding to alarms, responding to, clogged filters, switching over strainers, responding to calls from the bridge for speed up, slow down. Can we get another 10 turns on this shaft? No, we need, do we need to add another generator to get that much speed? And they're keeping a very close eye on the machinery spaces. And Jay, you've walked through the ship. You know how extensive those machinery spaces are. They stretch really from bow to stern for the lower 2 decks of the ship.
Oh, they're enormous. And I think there was the ceiling height at least 30 to 40 feet, I would say, in the engine room?
In the main engine room, from the lower deck all the way up in the open space above the engines. It's quite a lot to keep on top of. And so they're responsible for filling out the logbook. I mentioned to you as we were prepping to start the interview that I expect a noontime report from the engine room because I have a responsibility to send out a noon report on the condition and quantities of fuel on board, water on board, lube oils. How far have we turned the shaft in the last 24 hours? How many miles have we gone by engine versus how many miles have we gone by observation across the water? And so they have to get me those numbers. And if the numbers don't come up at noon, then I call down and I ask for the numbers. And they don't like it when I have to call down and ask for the numbers.
I bet they don't.
But they've got to provide a lot of information and they've got to keep on top of things. Now, the last of the 4 divisions or rotations that a cadet could be in is utility. And utility, as you alluded to, are some of the less desirable jobs. The utility division is caring for the ship. They are scrubbing pots, washing dishes, sorting trash, because we've got to take care of our own waste management, which means we're sorting plastics out of the waste stream, cardboard out of the waste stream. Food waste goes separate than everything else. And they're cleaning the ship. And in doing so, they're not only taking care of the ship, they're taking care of their shipmates. And they are learning to take pride in their workplace because we need those jobs done. Somebody has to do them. And as you are required to do them, and then you look around, you go, I've done a good job. This place is clean and it's neat, and the pots are all shiny and scrubbed. They're really learning to take care of their ship, take care of their shipmates, and to take pride in their work. So those are the 4 things that they do, and they do it every day. Even when we're in port and the ship is sitting at the dock, all of those things have to get taken care of.
And I think that one of the biggest takeaways, if I recall, was everyone's part of a team, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mass Maritime prides itself on being not only a maritime academy, but having the framework for building leaders. We have a regimental structure that increases your responsibility as you progress from a freshman to a sophomore and on up. And what we do on the ship is a direct reflection of that. It's building teamwork. It's building leadership. Sometimes it's building teamwork through adverse experiences, things that are difficult. It's certainly not easy to be out here for 6 weeks on the ship.
Sure. I'm sure it's not very real. And when you were saying find the materials for the fab shop or the welding or whatever it was there, you can't just run down to a supply house. Like you said,
No.
you're an island. Right. So
And it can feel like a very isolated island when you don't have the right materials.
that was an awesome walkthrough, Laura. I guess what I really want to ask you now is, you just walked us through the journey of like C term. Oh, could you share with the listeners what we stumbled upon? I stumbled like through it, I guess. But I said C term sounds like an internship, and then you responded with something that was
I
so
said
very fitting.
we put the ship in internship.
Yeah,
We
you
we're out here, and it really does sound like an internship. It's just that we take on 600 students at a time here at our facility, in a very structured way, but it is an internship.
it's awesome. So you're a graduate. So you can very directly and probably uniquely answer this, right? How do you feel MMA truly is distinct from or uniquely sets people up or cadets and graduates for success after school?
Oh, absolutely. The education has to be first and foremost in that we're not just providing a theoretical and a classroom learning environment. So our students learn all of the, basic engineering principles in the classroom first, but then they apply them directly, not only in the labs, but in their internships on the sea term, on the training crews, in experiential learning situations. It's not enough for us to say, hey, here's how a diesel engine works. Then we take the student, we go, okay, here's one for you to take apart. And then we take them out here on the sea term and we go, here you go. Now it's your job to run one and
That's
to
awesome.
monitor it and to make sure that its maintenance is taken care of. So we take you from the theoretical all the way through the hands-on and then to the practical skill and the practical knowledge that you need in order to run a ship, to run a power plant, to run an industrial facility. Like the second part of that equation is the regimental structure of the school, is that you as a single person can't do this solo. No matter where you go, you're going to have a team to work with, and you're going to have to figure out how to work with that team. And so as we take all of these, 18-year-old, 19-year-old young men and women and throw them into this regimental structure where first they're at the very bottom of the totem pole. Someone else is lining them up, telling them to shine their shoes, making them squared away.
Mm-hmm.
And they grow in those leadership positions until they are the one lining up the freshmen and telling them to shine their shoes and to get them squared away. And really growing the experiences of how to work within a team and how to manage a team.
That's very well said. And I shared with others, with Ashraf and others, that when I interviewed the cadets, I had the privilege of doing so, as you know. That's exactly what they explained too. That's their journey. Like they learn, they do, they lead, right? It's impressive. So Laura, you're in the Caribbean Sea. I mean, awesome. Thank you for taking the time. How would people reach out to you or get in touch if they had more questions about any of the content you just shared?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody who wants to reach out can reach me through the school. If you'd like to share my email address, that's fine. Um,
Sure.
or they can search me up on the maritime.edu website. We'll be back in Buzzards Bay at the end of February on the ship. Um, I know that our admissions department is forever scheduling tours to let people get a little bit of a view of what we do and this spectacular ship that we have.
And spectacular it is. Laura, thank you so much. Safe journeys, and I hope the cadets do very well for you at sea.
Thanks very much, Jay. It's been a good pleasure to speak with you today.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Laura. Hey, rock stars. If you're tuning into the podcast and are feeling overwhelmed by all the maintenance demands at your facility, don't stress. We've got you covered. Our sponsor, Culbert, is your go-to partner to help you tackle all those demands and get them done right, on time, and with top-notch quality. From project planning to execution, Culbert is there to make hard work easy. Visit culbert.com today to get started. Today's guest brings a rare combination of deep academic expertise and industry-changing innovation spanning aerospace, automotive systems, robotics, and advanced controls. A published scholar, award-winning engineer, AIAA member, and frequent peer reviewer, he is currently preparing for the release of his forthcoming textbook, Kinematics and Dynamics of Machines. After earning his bachelor's and master's degrees in aerospace engineering from Cairo University, he completed his PhD in aerospace engineering sciences at Old Dominion University through a competitive international scholarship. He later spent nearly 8 years at CNH Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, leading advanced development of powertrain and transmission control systems, work that resulted in 24 international patents, before returning to academia with faculty roles at Texas A&M University, Kingsville Loyola University, Chicago, Johns Hopkins University. He is an associate professor in the Facilities Engineering Department at Massachusetts Maritime Academy. Dr. Ashraf Omran, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for what you said. And I appreciate your start or your introduction to me. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Absolutely, Doctor. Absolutely. And it's, we've had the pleasure of knowing each other now for probably about 6 months or so. And it's been a great experience. So thank you for investing your time with us today.
Yes. Thank you very much for inviting me again. Thank you.
Of course. So this series is all about honoring the cadets and the leadership team and Mass Maritime Academy in general. I wanted to interview you, Ashraf, because you bring a very unique experience, clearly in the intro that it illustrated that. So what brought you to Mass Maritime Academy, and why did you choose to be here?
Well, in 2022, I was looking to apply for something in Boston area. And I was looking for one of the universities. It came to me on the website with Massachusetts Maritime Academy. And I was looking at the website and I was fascinated with the shape of the cadets and how the uniform and the shape and the entire thing. So I looked more in the curriculum. I looked more about what you're offering them. And I looked more about how much hands-on experience you give to them. So I applied. I did not expect to get the interview. So I get the interview. I went to Massachusetts Maritime Academy and made the interview, and I was very fascinated with some special labs, like especially the engine, and the diesel engine and the boiler. That was fascinated for me. Okay, those are huge labs, and even I'd been the entire day looking at this lab. Wow, I did not expect any university to have this huge labs. And after that, when I was making the interview, then I was making the interview about something, and most of the interview asked me about control systems. However, I did not apply for the control, but they asked me about the control. And after I finished the interview, and after that, they called me and they gave me the offer, and I accepted the offer. However, I did another offer at that time from Old Dominion University, the one that I got my degree from. But I accepted the one from Massachusetts Maritime Academy. Again, my interest was going to the less, how much hands-on experience they can get it from this field. Okay, so I accepted the offer, and I did not know anything about the operational control. But that was, and I said, okay, I need to get this experience. I need to, okay, I know I'm going to Massachusetts Maritime Academy to teach, but it's not teaching only, it's learning. Like the two sides. I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to teach.
Great outlook. I like that perspective very much. So a great story there too, and a great why, I would say. And I've had the pleasure of touring your controls lab that you and the team did an incredible job building. Your cadet Luke walked me through with Mary Ellen. A very impressive lab. Tell us a little bit about your role in the school, at the university, at the academy, and your contribution, your experience.
So after I was hired, okay, by a week, okay, I get a meeting with the dean and the boys, and two of them they told me, okay, well, we've hired you because as you can see in my resume, there's 24 patents in automatic control. Okay. So we told you, knowing that you are control expert, we hire you because we both visit lab, they're ready. Get it. They're buying the lab that is coming, but you need someone to put the lab to it. Like, you can buy the lab, but it's not only about buying the items, but we need someone to put the lab together, someone to put the curriculum together, someone to build the entire thing. They told me, okay, I will take the academic lead to make the lab working, to put the curriculum, to move everything. And the lab was like, I was hired in August, the lab was coming in March 1st, so I have the time. So after that, I was happy with this trust actually, because that's a scary trust that, we're hired after 1 week. Oh, you want to take the lead, to do this one. So good thing I get the help from Professor John Baruch. Okay, Professor John Baruch had been over there for a long time. And Laura. Laura, at that time, she was not in the chair. She was working as assistant professor. So I get Laura, and we start to speak to the dean's office, and we said, okay, we need to see a real setup for that. Someone has a real setup. So we travel to Philadelphia. There's one school in Philadelphia. They have this real setup, not as big as the one we have. They have a baby one. So we traveled over there for 3 days. Laura and I, we traveled over there for 3 days. We looked at the setup. We tried to understand how it will look like, because we do not have anything. That is coming in March. We have to teach it in March, like today before we're going to teach it. After that, we get the box that we put it together, okay, and John was helping big time to putting the curriculum, putting what we need to teach for because John is an expert, he's MIT, and he knows a lot about content. And we build the curriculum together, we build the syllabus, we build what we want to teach for the cadets. Okay. And after that, after we build the lab, the lab started to be more like, a piece of diamond. Like you really making a piece of diamond inside the academy. So we start to attract the high school around the academy to build mini lab from our lab. So far, we get 2 high schools building already mini labs from our lab. Essex, Blue Hills.
Very impressive.
So they already have mini labs from our lab. And also start to attract bigger, like Boston Scientific.
Of course. Yep.
Nucor, Schneider's. Those people, they come to speak to us and they come, oh, you guys did that? Yes, we did that. Okay, I went to Dan Hauser, our LinkedIn, he was talking to me. Oh, he was looking, and like when we did this, he took an article about us. He said the magazine, and I was posting this article on the LinkedIn, and did not know me. He was just chit-chatting with me on LinkedIn. He told me, oh, you did that is at the academy? I said, yes, we did that is at the academy. So I invited him to come for 2 hours. He's been inside the 5 hours. Okay. How the cadet learning. And that was like more like attracting. So my job is to manage this lab, not managing the lab, like making the curriculum, managing the syllabus, managing the development of this lab, building the relationship between the lab and the high schools, like making the lab as a center, to manage many labs in the high schools, making the lab as a center to communicate with the facilities like Nucor, Boston Scientific, Schneider, all the big facilities. So the lab starts to be a center, not only a lab, it's a center. Okay. And also, like now, I'm working with Professor John to build a textbook
A textbook around it. Yes.
about the pressure controls. Yes, that's what we're
Excellent.
doing. Yes. So it's more like, and we're going to make it like more like not a pressure control lab. No, it's pressure control center.
Mm,
Like making like and Nathan can be like more like MIT.
sure. Sure. I think it's very impressive, Ashraf, how you noted the high schools are drawn to the academy for the uniqueness of the lab that you and your team have built. You, Laura, and John, and everyone, and then also the organizations you're listing, like Boston Scientific. Paul Donhauser, I know, is very integrated with Mass Maritime, and he's a grad. He's contributed so much to Facility Rockstars as well, our whole community. So yeah, great person there. Um, and you've begun to really kind of lead me into the next question here, and that is the uniqueness of the lab and your personal contribution as well as the team. What do you feel is most distinct about the cadets' experience at Massachusetts Maritime versus other higher education facilities?
Okay, so I believe like the different what makes Mass Maritime Academy unique. At Mass Maritime Academy, they put money, time, and they put the human and they put the effort, okay, to invest this fund for the future of the cadets. Okay, like they build labs. They don't care about putting 2 million to build a lab for the student, not research lab. No, it's not research lab. That's lab for the student. That's that to educate the student. And this lab will take like 2-3 years, and this is there to start to get the outcome from the lab. Okay, because it is not all not in 1 month. Oh no, it will take 2-3 years until you can see the outcome from this lab. And also they build new courses. They build new uh, job fairs. They buy facilities from outside. They buy something like Dunhauser, for example. They buy something for people from Nicole. They buy people from all over the facilities. And they let them speak to these cadets, the alumni. That's what they do, the engagement. That's what they do. So that's what makes them, okay, like not just, we do not care about the student go to research. No, they are very 100% their investment about we need this cadet to get the best hands-on experience. They need to get the best communication with the manager to work with. That's the like getting them, okay, we're going to ask XUs, that's with who we're going to work with. So that's what I feel.
Outstanding. Yeah, I think the way I've always seen my experience so far is the cadets, the way they apply themselves too. Like your lab is preparing them to, whether it's to go to a facility or to go to the ship, right, on sea term, and understand how to apply it in the real world, if you will. It's very impressive.
Yeah, like now we try to do something, okay, like taking the freshman cadet, okay, taking them to visit the facilities, like taking them like more like long field exploration learning, okay, EL courses. So in EL courses, taking them, okay, we want to take you this different type of facilities, okay, like power plant, HVAC, or Boston Scientific, for example, bio one, and telling them, okay, here's what you're getting, here's what you're going to learn, here's what will be your future, to let them distinguish the difference. So when they come after that to take the courses, they understand how is this technology and from the courses is important in their future later. So that will like more like they will be more engaged, and the engagement between the young generation and what will happen for them in the future, that's something important, because that will let them, okay, they understand how what will happen, what will be the future, what they need to learn, why they learning this material, why this material is important for them.
I think you're really answering the really kind of my final question here, and that is, how does the academy truly set up the cadets up for success in the future? And I'll relate this quickly, because as I speak with graduates, so many of them have told me that whoever they report to or their company or the owner says, you can't just hire other MMA grads, and many of them have said, well, point me to another place where I can get that level of predictability in performance from someone.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
yeah, how do you feel it sets them up?
I think because I think there's a logo or a way the academy is saying, okay, you're the first, then you do it, okay, and after lead, and leading, that's the first important thing. Like, okay, you do the material, you understand the material there, you get hands-on experience, you saw the cadet, you saw how they're getting all dirty with the hands-on. Okay, after that, they have to know how they can take the decision because in troubleshooting, that's their own decision, that's their own call. Like they're
Yep.
not going to ask someone to make the call for them. That's their own decision. They have to make these calls. So that how the academy makes them. They have to be learn it first, how to do it, and after that, you have to make the decision and you have to make the lead. Like I remember we had a meeting with Nucor, the company Nucor, and the manager they came. Oh, we need someone who knows how to make the decisions for to be the leader. And we tell them, okay, look, here is learn to lead and leading. That's what the academy makes them unique. To learn them how you make the decision, how to make the troubleshooting.
That is such a cohesive and powerful message, Ashraf, because I've had the privilege, as you know, to interview several cadets as well. And so many of them shared they entered the academy as a shy, reserved person. And they said, oh, I don't want to lead. And then they became leaders. So the
Leaders,
learn,
yes.
do, lead system clearly is highly effective.
Yes,
That's fantastic.
and the leading is important because part of what we teach for them, the troubleshooting in the courses, that's something very important. Like when we teach them the operational control layer in the last session, the last session called troubleshooting, like, okay, that we give them the system is working. After that, I tell them, can you go get coffee, go get something out for 10 minutes, and I make some like glitches, like I make something is not working. And they come back. That they're leading. Tell me what happened exactly. So they have sort of like squeezing their mind. They have to take the lead to tell me what exactly makes the system is not working. That's more like, for me, that's leading. They maybe think it's troubleshooting. No, it's not troubleshooting, that's leading. Like you have to take that decision. Okay,
Sure.
yes, they have to fix it.
Yeah, they're owning it, right?
Yes,
Leading it,
yes,
and they're making the decision. It's ownership, I believe.
yes. The ownership, yes.
Ashraf, such a pleasure. Every time we talk, whether it's in person, on video like this, or on the phone, it's amazing. How would people get in touch with you if they had, and I'm sure they will have further questions based on your experience? What's the best way to reach out?
LinkedIn. That
Okay.
okay. I'm available. They have my email, of course, my Maritime Academy email. But LinkedIn, I'm available LinkedIn. But my Maritime Academy as well.
Dr. Ashraf Omran, thank you so much for your time today and sharing all of your wisdom and your experience with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much.
What an incredible look at the learn, do, lead philosophy in action. A huge thank you to Chief Laura Wilcox for joining us from the middle of the Caribbean, and to Dr. Ashraf Omran for sharing the vision behind that piece of diamond they've built in the operational controls lab. Whether it's Chief Wilcox reminding us that we put the ship in internship, or Dr. Omran's focus on squeezing the mind through troubleshooting, the message today was clear. Technical knowledge is the baseline, but the ability to take ownership and lead under pressure is what makes a true future facility rock star. If you're a facility leader looking for that next level of predictability and performance in your team, or if you're a student wondering if this path is for you, I hope today's conversation gave you a glimpse of what's possible at Mass Maritime Academy. We're only halfway through our special series. Join us next week for part 3, where I interview 3 more MMA faculty members and leaders. Catch you next time. It's a wrap. Another episode of Facility Rockstars is in the books. Facility Rockstars is sponsored by Coludus. operating the way you operate in order to make your life easier. Until next time, facilitate and rock on.